It's different because we do this work, so.
But we also have the education,
right,
which we're offering by doing our community outreach and our educational forums. We're trying to get it out there so the public in our community, especially, their eyes can be open to all these things too. These blatant disregard to our choice, our feelings, our everything, like our bodies, period. So, I mean,
right.
Of course, we see
the overall
it.
issue is that it's not being talked about.
Yeah.
And so you have these situations where you have all these laws being passed. You have, 19 or 20 billboards that were put up in our communities, bashing our decision. And you have all that put up, but nobody knew about it.
Right.
And nobody knew this was taking place.
And even when we did our resource fair at 58th and State Street, even just walking through the neighborhood, majority of the people didn't even know it was right there. What billboard?
Where is it at? Where is you talking about?
So, I mean, it's great what we're doing, and it's great that we can come on here on TV and get that out there, too.
Right, so that's the whole point. I guess the overall goal is that we were trying to get with this show is that self-educate. Self-education is key because the flip side to media's negative influence is that we don't want to influence you from our perspective either. No one is pushing no one to have an abortion, and no one is saying don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't. You shouldn't have no abortion. It's put everything out there, and you make the decision that you want to make based on all the accurate information. We have another caller.
I just tuned in into the show that you guys are giving, and I wanted to know if you're for abortion or against abortion.
Thank you, caller.
We're for abortion.
We're pro-choice.
We're pro-choice. Pro-choice does not mean pro-abortion, so let's make that clear. But I've had an abortion.
I've had an abortion.
We both had abortion, so.
And I have children.
Right.
And so we have other women in the group that are parents and that are not.
Mm-hmm.
I support you regardless to what you, because you, at the end of the day, you have to decide what's best for you and your family, not your mother, sister, brother, cousin, but what's best for you. And if you have children at that time, like, because you're the breadwinner, you have to provide. That's going to be you. It's your red wagon. So whatever you choose, we support you. I believe that you should be able to choose to do whatever you want to your body. You choose to get tattoos and all this other stuff. Why can't you choose, something that's part of your reproductive health? So, we were back to the Sex in the City.
I wanted to address the other caller before too. Me personally, yes, I am for abortion. I've had one, so I'm okay with it. But we advocate for choice. We don't advocate for abortion. So, if that's like Brittany was saying, we advocate for that choice. Did you want to address that one?
Oh no, no, I don't. I made my decision, and I'm content with my decision. And I'm content and more than happy to be out here advocating on behalf of pro-choice, other pro-choice individuals. So I love doing the work that I do. It's not about feeling, it's not about what I feel or how I felt. It's about getting my voice out there so I can hopefully empower other women to get out and speak up, and not even just women, because there's so many other social issues and social injustices going on that you have to have a voice regardless of what the issue is, regardless. So let's just say that I love being a pro-choice advocate.
Well, so before the caller called, what I was getting into was the episode on Sex and the City that I saw. And so it was, if anybody's familiar with, the characters. So, right.
I'm sorry.
So, the episode was about, wait, what is the redhead?
The redhead.
Miranda was pregnant. And so, she was, she wasn't ready. She could handle it financially herself, but, she wasn't in a relationship.
She didn't know if it was the right guy.
She didn't know. It was just not the right time for her. So, at this, simultaneously, Charlotte was trying to get pregnant. She couldn't. So, they all at the table, and, they're talking about it. And then it comes out that Carrie actually had an abortion when she was 21. And so, but she never told anyone. And so, she had all these, voices around her, but she, in the end, made the decision to, she originally made the decision to have an abortion. And so, even with her best friend being mad at her, she still made the decision. But she wound up not having one. But I guess the whole point of that story was, even with all the voices around her influencing her, she still was able to make that decision for her. So that was the important piece with that story. We have a caller.
All right, go ahead, caller.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. And you?
All righty. Listen, I just want to make a little point, and I'm all for a woman having a choice, because there's a lot of technology out here, and you should be, you should be able to use that technology. I would just like to see a young black woman and a young black man being very, very responsible with their sexual activity, because you have all this technology out here. It's absolutely no reason for you to have a baby by accident. You know what I'm saying? And I know that a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to have an abortion because I have an unwanted child coming because I've got molested or what have you. But I believe for the most part, people they take it for granted that they can just have an abortion because, well, I don't want the bills, or I don't want to have a bigger apartment, or I don't want to do this or that. And life is just a little bit too profound to make decisions based on that kind of thing.
Thank you, caller, for your comment. I think he was kind of going different places with it, but I feel like one direction that he kind of touched on was the issue of we having so many, I guess, technology meaning resources available, and he felt like people shouldn't be getting pregnant on accident. I think that people tend to be oblivious to the fact that everybody doesn't have access to those resources. And so yeah, we do have condoms out here, yeah, we do have birth control out here, and yeah, we do have counseling, but a lot of women, A, don't know that, and a lot of women, B, don't have the ability to access those resources. You have restrictions like insurance, you have restrictions like these young girls that are in CPS, Chicago Public Schools, you can't even bring condoms into the school. So how can you adequately teach a sex ed session or how to properly use a condom?
And sex ed isn't even in schools.
Right, because it's abstinence only teaching in these schools. So you have like to quickly address that point in his comment was that you have to play both sides of the fence. You have to think about it from the perspective of that young girl or that woman who does not have access to those resources.
And let's not forget that condoms fail, birth control fails. Okay, we could track our cycle and figure out when we're ovulating, but then if they're not being taught that, they don't know. So
yeah, a lot of women don't even know that the menstrual cycle is not the days that you bleed in. It's more than those 5 days that you bleed. So you have issues like that arise. So it's not as simple as use the technology or use the resources that's available to us, because we can't use those resources at will. So kind of going back to our topic about influences. The next one was the point of like the general news broadcasting. You have all these issues going around, and you see the headlines that make news about
cop
LaGoya, like this
person here on the Lawndale neighborhood or something.
Yeah. And so, but the only headline that we see pertaining to abortion or reproductive health is when people feel that government funding is paying for abortion, when that's not the case. So that's how they kind of get the crowd or the people riled up, saying that our tax dollars are paying for abortion, which isn't true. But that's the only time it makes headlines. So when you have these cases where the cases of the billboards, that didn't make headlines.
No.
It was it was in the media, like but it wasn't. Yeah.
And my thing is with the whole lack of coverage of abortion, unless it's something that has something to do with some House bill or something that someone in like me sitting at home don't even know what the heck is going on, what they're talking about. Why isn't the Chicago Abortion Fund on the news? Why isn't the leadership group and the stuff that we do as far as promoting birth control and getting out here and being advocates, why isn't that being, why don't we have a segment, or why don't all these other organizations that are doing something surrounding reproductive health or reproductive justice, why isn't that in the news? I mean, we're not saying, abort. We're saying, let's uplift, empower, educate. Because we have forums on all these things: birth control, domestic violence, abortion, everything. So,
because what happens is that you have a situation where you don't have any coverage about reproductive freedom, reproductive, expression, reproductive health. You don't have any coverage or any type of background information on these topics and these issues. So then you may have this person all the way on the left saying, I don't agree with abortion, it's bad, you're going to go to hell if you do it, whatever the case may be. But then you have this other person, this other voice on the far right saying, well, I'm for abortion, so, yada, 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 yada. But, like, that's the only kind of experience that this one person in the middle has with abortion. That's our first time hearing it. That's his first time hearing it. That's his first time seeing it. So without that self education or that in your face information about it, you just hear this one extreme or this one extreme,
and you're not forming your own.
And you're not forming your own opinion, which is pretty much the overall basis of today's show. It was to pretty much the purpose is to self-educate, whether it's on reproductive health, whether it's on general academia, whatever the case may be. Self-educate, because you'll wind up having somebody else influence you to make a decision, or influence you, and you form your own perspective based on someone else's. So
right.
Self-educate, because you'll be misinformed.
Yeah, and you ask them, why do you feel that way? Why are you against abortion? Or why do you say I'm going to hell? And they're going to say, well, my mom told me, or my brother or somebody told me that if you do this, or if you believe in that, then you're just like the scum of the earth or some crap.
And the key is, you said your mother or whoever else said, you didn't formulate that. So here's our information again. We're the Chicago Abortion Fund. Our number is, for the hotline, is 312-663-0338. You can call that if maybe you need a procedure done, or maybe you know someone who needs a procedure done. We assist with funding for second trimester procedures. That's our website, www.chicagooabortionfund.com.
For more info on the leadership group.
If you want to know about the leadership group. Any questions about today's topic, you could call that hotline number or our mainline number, which is 312-663-0336. And that number again is 312-663-0336. So, anyway.
That's it.
Thank you for tuning in. Good night.